The kind of leadership that dares to see it and to say it differently, which refuses to be bound by the failed conventions of those who led us here. And what makes Labour's economic policy different can be summed up in a single four-letter word: jobs. Since the last general election, less than 2 years ago, over 200,000 people have lost their jobs. Every lost job costs at least €20,000 between social welfare payments and lost taxes. That's €4 billion every year. The Taoiseach has admitted in the Dáil that unemployment could go to over 450,000 by the end of this year. That's another €2 billion. That's the problem in the public finances. The cost of job losses and the taxes lost because people are no longer spending. The problem in the public finances was caused by the downturn in the economy and not the other way around. Difficult decisions will have to be taken on taxation and spending, but the public finances can only be restored to order by getting people back to work, by restoring consumer confidence, and by getting the economy moving again. We are not going to solve this economic crisis unless we put jobs at the heart of everything we do. That is why Labour has been putting forward proposal after proposal to save jobs, to create new jobs, and to re-stimulate our economy. For the past year or more, we have argued that tax incentives should be shifted from property to start-ups in innovation and technology. We proposed a new national fund to extend credit to small businesses. We suggested an earn and learn scheme to enable workers going on short time to upskill and retrain. We proposed practical measures to get construction moving again, such as building schools and insulating homes. We were proposing better financial regulation long before the banking crisis. But we must do more. Let us be clear that the greatest false economy is to pay people to do nothing. That means we must fight harder to keep the jobs we have. Who says that when a Dell or an Ericsson or an SR Technics decides to up sticks and move their plant abroad, that their Irish employees must inevitably become redundant? Their jobs might be, but their skills are not. So why can't Enterprise Ireland find a new use for those skills? Instead of paying people who have lost their jobs, can we not invest in keeping them? Does it not make more sense to spend €10 million now to save 1,000 jobs than to spend 20 million every year to keep those people on the dole? There must be opportunities for those who are losing their jobs. They may be unemployed, but they don't want to be idle. This is the time to launch a skills revolution. We needed it in good times, and we need it even more now. Tens of thousands of adults need to go back to training and education, to update their skills and to acquire new ones. Not just because the economy needs it, but because education is the great liberator. It gives people choices and new chances. No young person should have to go from school or college straight onto the dole. So we are proposing a graduate work placement scheme that connects businesses, voluntary organisations, even the public sector, with graduates looking for experience that is so crucial when looking for a job. If there are teachers graduating from college for whom there are no jobs, then let them get started, working as teaching apprentices in the classroom, building their experiences, sharing their skills, and in the same way, give unemployed solicitors placements, cutting the waiting lists at legal aid centres. And there are many who might use this slack time to make a contribution in the developing world if we facilitate that too. We must do everything we can to support job creation. In these exceptional times, employers' PRSI should be cut for at least 18 months, where a new job is created and filled by someone who has been unemployed. These are creative and short-term measures which will pay for themselves. But we need to look too at the enterprises that can be developed here in Ireland and which are not entirely dependent on the global upswing, like new sources of energy from wind and wave, renewing farming and food production, turning our faces back to the sea all around us to rediscover our potential as a maritime nation, finding some tourism use for all those half-empty hotels that were built with tax breaks during the boom, getting people back to work and restoring the confidence to buy among consumers is key to solving the crisis in our public finances. But that crisis is now so bad and so urgent that it cannot wait for the new jobs and the new spending. In less than 2 weeks, the government will introduce their second budget and their fourth attempt to stabilise the public finances in 2009. The Labour Party offered to fully engage and to be positive, and I regret that the government decided to be evasive and partisan and to keep key budget information to themselves. What we need is a plan for the public finances, not just another set of panic measures. We need a budget that is part of a coherent 3-year national recovery plan. You cannot close the gap between income and expenditure in 1 year alone. Too much harsh medicine will end up killing the patient, sending the country further into a downward spiral of job losses, followed by cuts, followed by more job losses, and followed by even more cuts. Do taxes have to increase? Yes, they do. They're increasing already, and are going to have to increase more. Nobody likes that, but there's no choice. That's where Fianna Fáil has now brought us. The gap cannot be sustained. We will publish our pre-budget statement next week, and our tax proposals will include a third rate of income tax for the highest earners. But when we pay more tax, and deep down we all know we have to, then it must be progressive and on the taxpayers' terms. The government must end, in this budget, the practice and status of tax exiles. You know, you couldn't make it up. Sell the company, split it 3 ways, send the 3 spouses off to Italy for 183 days so that they qualify as tax exiles, and you avoid paying the capital gains tax. Well, that game is up now. If working people have to pay more tax, then everybody is paying tax, and that goes too for the tax reliefs on property and on directors' pensions.